Good morning, everyone. So, in today's session, we will be revising the management and administration topic of CA Intermediate in corporate and other laws. So, we learned about registers, annual return, then how the meeting is conducted, and what are all the compliance formalities that a company should have to go about. So we will be now going through the questions asked in the past examination, and with that we will be revising the concepts and the relevant topics or the procedures will be discussed. Now first, annual return. So what is the provision in general for annual return? The general rule is that annual return should have to be filed within 60 days of the meeting, annual general meeting. Whether the AGM is held or not, it should have to be filed within 60 days. If for a company AGM could not be held, then it should have filed its annual return from 60 days from the date it should have held as annual general meeting. So 60 days is the time limit. So let us see how the question is asked. Enumerate the provisions of the Companies Act in respect to the following. Time limit for filing of annual return when AGM is held. Then second option, time limit for filing of annual return when annual general meeting is not held. So how you have to start the answer and what should have to be mentioned. So you can give a heading if possible. Then you have to give or submit, file a copy of annual return with the registrar of companies. So file a copy of annual return with ROC within 60 days. Within 60 days, if you stop with this, it's not complete. Within 60 days from what? From the date of AGM. So only then it is complete. So filing a copy with the ROC, then within 60 days from the date of annual general meeting. So if it is held. If it is not held, where could not be held in any year, still the company should have to file with the registrar within 60 days from the date on which should have been, the AGM should have been held. Should have been held. And you also have to specify the reasons for not holding the AGM. That should also be mentioned. So every company should have to file this. So you have to write all the points. And if it is not held, the reason also should have to be brought out. Then, next question. Explain the following as per the provisions of the Companies Act. Abridged form of annual return, then signing of annual return. See, abridged form of annual return for a normal company, it files in MGT 7. For small company or one-person company, OPC, it files in MGT 7E. So this should have to be brought in the answer. So the abridged form of annual return in terms of section 91(1) of the Companies Act, the central government may prescribe abridged form of annual return for one-person company, small company, and such other class or classes of companies as may be prescribed. As per rule, it should have to, one-person company and small company should have to file the annual return in MGT 7E. So you have to mention this. You can also mention first point, central government may prescribe. So this is the first point. And here, in which form, for whom? So this is which form? This is for whom? For small company and one person company. And signing of annual return. Definitely it should be signed by the director or by the company secretary. If the company has a company secretary, these two should be the signatories to the annual return. If a company secretary was not appointed, then it can be signed by company secretary in practice, or a practicing company secretary should have to sign the annual return. This is the rule generally prescribed. So how to write this when the question is asked? The annual return shall be signed. Shall means it must be signed by a director of the company and the company secretary. In case there is no company secretary, by a company secretary in practice. Now, if you stop with this, you should also mention about one person company, small company, and private company. So there you can mention that if it is a one person company or small company or a private company, OPC, small company or a private company, it shall be signed by the company secretary, or if there is no company secretary, then by the director of the company. So that you can give it. So you have to bring out all the points. You might be knowing, the students generally face the difficulty, they might be knowing the points, but they would not have written it in the examination. So that should be avoided, because whatever you write in the paper only, that gets evaluated. So you have to put every point in the paper in which you write. We'll move on to the next question. BBQ Limited, with its registered office in Hyderabad, has two branch offices. One located in Delhi and the other in London. So one is within India, the other is outside India. The accounting transactions of the branches are recorded, and all books of accounts are maintained in the branches. The branch accountant of the Delhi branch sent monthly, and the branch accountant of London sent quarterly summarized trial balance, profit and loss account, and balance sheet to the Hyderabad office. One of the assistants of the audit team, Mr. Naveen, raised the issue that the branches of the company maintain its books and records at branches, so it defaults on not maintaining the proper books of account at the registered office. Mr. Naveen further objected to the fact that the London branch sent their summarized returns on a quarterly basis instead of a monthly basis. You are requested to analyze and decide the validity of both the objections. See, read the question carefully. You are requested to analyze and decide. So you have to analyze the provisions pertaining to the points specified in that paragraph. First, you have to discuss the provisions, and you also should have to give the conclusion, whether it is correct or not. So that is the meaning of analyze and decide. So it is expected from the students both to analyze the provisions and give a conclusion. If the conclusion is not given, full marks will not be given. So read the question. So you are requested to analyze and decide the validity of both the objections. So you have to discuss both the objections. What are the objections? First, he is saying it on a quarterly basis and monthly basis, and it was not maintained at the registered office of the company. So these were the two objections. So you have to specify both. You have to address both the objections. Decide the validity of both objections of Mr. Naveen relating to the place of maintaining the books of account and sending summarized returns thereof to the registered office by the branch officers of the company, referring to the provisions of the Companies Act. Now, how to answer this question? First, we have to read the what is expected, what should be given, and how the answer should be. So first, you should have to discuss the place of maintaining the books of account. So in which place? So generally, place of maintaining the books of account, it is at the registered office of the company. So every company should have to prepare and keep the books of accounts, papers. So you have to write books of account, papers, documents, financial statement at its registered office. It can be kept at such other place if the board decides. So the board can decide that it should be kept at some other place and it can decide. So the second point, so first one, the requirement is that every company should have to keep it at its registered office. Then second point, may be kept at such other place as the board of directors decide, may decide. When that decision has been taken, then the company should have to intimate it to the registrar in AOC file. So the company should have to intimate to the registrar within 7 days the exact place where the books of accounts is going to be kept. So the company shall within 7 days file with the registrar a notice in writing in form AOC file giving full address of that other place where it is going to be maintained. So this is the general provision. So up to this, it is a discussion. So up to this, it is the provisions are discussed. Now here you have to link it with the case. Link the provisions with the case study. So you have to say in the given case or in the instant case or from the facts above, something you should have to link it up. So then you have to start with the whatever name which has been mentioned. See, here it has been mentioned as BBQ. So you have to say this is the first after analyzing the provisions. You have to specify in the given case, the books of accounts should be prepared and maintained in the registered office in Hyderabad. You first write that point, what is the provision. However, so you have to start it like this. However, it can also be maintained at some other place if the board of directors decide to keep the register at such other place, and intimation should have to be given with the registrar in AOC file within 7 days of filing. So you can justify the thing. So however, the same can be maintained at the respective branches if the board of directors have decided so and intimated the registrar within 7 days, giving full address. So 4 points you should have to write. So first one, board has decided to keep it at some other place. Then that decision was intimated to ROC within 7 days, by giving the full address. So these 4 points should be there. Excuse me. So if it is there, then the objection of Mr. Naveen is valid as intimation to the registrar is not specified in the question. Where a company has a branch office in or outside India, it shall be deemed to have complied with the requisite provisions. So for keeping the thing with the outside India, you can specify this. Proper books of accounts relating to the transactions effected at the branch office are kept at that office, and summarized returns are sent on periodical basis by branch office to the company at its registered office or such other place. As per Rule 4.1 of the company's accounts rules, the summarized returns of the books of the company kept and maintained outside India shall be sent to the registered office at quarterly intervals, which shall be kept and maintained at the registered office of the company, and it is kept open to directors for inspection. That is, foreign registers should have to be sent to India quarterly on quarterly intervals, and it is available for inspection by the directors. Since London office was sending summarized returns to the registered office in Hyderabad on quarterly basis, this is as per the requirement of law, and hence the objection of Mr. Naveen is invalid. You can explain it this way. So it has not been mentioned. So you can take, or you can also, assuming that it has been intimated, you can give your opinion. Assuming that it has been intimated to ROC, then Naveen's objection is not valid. You can analyze, because from your viewpoint, you are analyzing and discussing. You can also say if it is not intimated, then he has not complied with the provision. If he is assuming that he has intimated to the registrar of companies, then the company is BBQ is deemed to have been complied with the provision, and you can analyze it accordingly also. But you have to give the full details. What are all the details that should have to be complied with the company? We shall proceed with the next question. Now, when you have a big case study question, paragraphs like this, you can first read the requirement first. Now, this is a small paragraph. Suppose it is a case study question with 5 numbers and other thing. You read the requirement first. What is the question that you have to answer? First, you read that and then go to the case study, so that it will be easier for you on what provisions the questions are tested. And with that in mind, you can go to the question. So what will be the fate of the meeting in case two members in person were present at the adjourned meeting? Or in case of a total of 16 members were present, but chairman, owing to unruly behavior of some members, has adjourned the meeting to some other date. Then if it is called by the requisitionist, what will be the fate of the meeting? So the question has been tested on adjournment of meeting on the quorum. So quorum is the minimum number of persons present in a meeting. So what is a quorum? The minimum number of members who should be present in a meeting. Required to be present in a meeting. in a general meeting, more specifically. So we will read the case study. LKG is a company having a paid up capital of 12.50 crores with a total number of members being 3,500. Because quorum has been specified, you have a limit more than 5,000 and you have a provision for quorum. So you should have to satisfy that thing. If it is a private limited company, 2 members personally present will form the quorum. If it is a public limited company, you have to remember the provisions. So what is that? If it is not more than 5,000, I'm sorry, if it is not more than 1,000 members, 5 members will form the quorum. If it is more than 1,000 but less than 5,000 members, 15 members will form the quorum. If the number of members is more than 5,000, then 30 members should have to form the quorum. So let me write the provisions first. So for a private limited company, two members personally present will form the quorum. If the number of members for a public limited company, if it is less than 5,000, I'm sorry, not more than 5,000, not more than 1,000. Then 5, greater than 1,000, but up to 5,000, it is 15. Greater than 5,000, it is 30. This is the general provision. So when he has specified being 3,500, so it falls in the second category. More than 1,000, but up to 5,000. The quorum is 15 members. So while reading, you should have to be clear with the provision also. So remember the provision and then we will read further. So LKG is a company having a paid up capital of 12.50 crores with the total number of members being 3,500. It is a limited, so it is not a private limited. If they have specified it as private limited, then quorum is only 2. So it is a limited company. So the 15 or 5 or 30, you should have to check. The board of directors have called a general meeting, the meeting to be conducted on 6/5/2023 at 2 p.m. On the date of the meeting, the quorum was not present within half an hour and hence was adjourned to the next week on 13/5/2023 on the same day at same venue. So when there is an adjournment, when the quorum was not there, it will be adjourned to the same day next week. So if it is on Thursday, this Thursday, you are conducting a meeting. If it could not be held on this Thursday, it will be adjourned to the next Thursday. That is the meaning of it will be adjourned to the same day next week. If it was held on, if it was planned on Friday, if it could not be held this Friday, it will be adjourned on the same day, next Friday at the same venue. So on the same day. Same day means here it is which day. If it is Monday means next Monday. So like that you should have to calculate. So 6th, next week the date falls on 13th. Next day on the same day in the same venue. In reference to the above scenario, in the light of the relevant provisions of the Companies Act, elucidate upon the following queries of the company. So what is elucidation? Elucid means write it very briefly, clearly, lucid. So elucidate. So the question asked is elucidate. You have to write very shortly the provisions, but bringing out clearly the relevant provisions. Now, what is the first question? What will be the fate of the meeting in case 2 members in present in person were present at the meeting, at the adjourned meeting held on 13th May 2023. So even at the adjourned meeting also the quorum is not present. What will be the fate? Quorum not present at adjourned meeting also. So what is the provision? This is one thing. In case on 6/5/2023, a total of 16 members were present. So in case 16 members were present, this company falls within the limit of more than 1000 members, but up to 5000 members because the members are 3000. So in this case, 15 members is minimum requirement. So 16 members are present, but the chairman, owing to the unruly behavior of some members during the meeting, had adjourned to 13/5/2023, and at the adjourned meeting only 3 members in person are present. So in that original meeting, second question talks about in the original meeting, it is 16 members, quorum was there, but the chairman has adjourned it because of the unruly behavior of the members. And at the adjourned meeting, only 3 are there. So what is the position? Then third case, where such meeting was called by requisitionist under section 100 of the Act, and at such meeting the quorum was not present, what will be the fate of such meeting? So it specifies different instances where if quorum is not present, then it is adjourned on the adjourned meeting if the quorum is not there. Second question, in the original meeting, quorum was there, but it was adjourned by the chairman to the next day in the next week, to the same day in the next week. And the adjourned meeting, only 3 members are present. Then third issue or the third question, it was called by the requisitionist, but the quorum was not present. So first, how you should have to start the answer. Now we have seen the provision, right? So you can write, in case of a public company, unless the articles provide for a larger number. So how you have to start the question? We will see. In case of public company, this you have to write because the articles can provide for a larger number. So this is a peculiarity. The articles can prescribe, but this is the general rule. But the articles, if they say a minimum of 20 members should have to be there for a quorum. So then articles will overrule this. So articles should have to be seen. So this word should have to be added. Unless the articles of the company provide for a larger number. If the number of members is more than 100, because in this particular scenario, it is more than 100. So you can specify that if it is more than 1000, more than 1000 and up to 5000, 15 members personally present forms the quorum. So then the quorum shall be, or you can write it 15 members personally present forms the quorum. If the quorum is not present within half an hour, the same meeting shall stand adjourned to the same day in the next week at the same time and same place. Or is it compulsory that it is only, it can be adjourned on some other day, but it should be intimated, or to such other date and such other time and place as the board may determine. So that should also be, that is also a possibility. Or suppose the meeting has been called by the requisitionist in case of AGM, When the quorum is not present, it shall stand cancelled. So if the meeting was called by the requisitionist, if the quorum is not present, it shall stand cancelled. So in the third case, it was called by the requisitionist and quorum is not present. So this is the answer for the third subdivision. You write everything, every point there in the answer sheet. It should be there. What are the provisions, exceptions, conditions, whatever has been mentioned, you have to write it. So you should not stop with this. You should also give the exceptions provided. In case of an adjourned meeting or of a change of a day, time or place of a meeting, instead of 13th, you want to keep it on 14th May or at some other venue, or if it is 10 a.m., you are not going to keep it at 10 a.m., you are going to keep it at 2 p.m. So the time also gets changed. Then the company should have to give not less than 3 days notice to the members. So not less than 3 days notice means a minimum of 3 days notice. A minimum of 3 days notice should have to be given in advance before the meeting to the members, or they should have to publish an advertisement, one in vernacular newspaper and in English newspaper. English newspaper and one in vernacular newspaper. Vernacular means the regional language newspaper. Say if it is in Karnataka, Kannada, or the local language newspaper, you have to mention. So, two newspapers, it is and English and vernacular language. So, advertisement should have to be given in two newspapers. So, that also, these two provisions you have to write. First one, 3 days notice when there is a change of day, time, or place. There is a change. Then it should have to be intimated 3 days prior to that, or not less than 3 days notice should be given to the members, either individually or by advertisement in newspaper. So read it. Either it can give individual notice to the members, or if that is not possible, or by publishing an advertisement in the newspapers which is in circulation at the registered office of the company. So you have to bring all these points, right? This is the provision. Now you can start with the in the instant case. So this is an analysis of the provision. You have to mention all the provision, exceptions, conditions, everything should have to be mentioned. Then you can start with the in the instant case. You have to write the subdivision 1, 2, 3. No, so in the answer sheet you have to write first subdivision, then second subdivision, then third subdivision. You have to give it, write it separately, leave some line, and then you have to write it. So quorum not present in the adjourned meeting also. So that also you have to mention. So that is also a provision. So what is that? If quorum is not present at the adjourned meeting also, this also is important. Also means it was not present at the original meeting. It was also not present at the adjourned meeting also. If it is not present within half an hour, then the members present shall form the quorum. So we are not bothered whether the quorum is there or not in the adjourned meeting. So member within half an hour you will do it. Because what is the concept behind that? If that day also you adjourn the meeting, then it will go on like that. There won't be any end to it. So the act has specified by putting an end to the problem. So whoever is there on the adjourned meeting, they will form the quorum. So in the given question, the quorum for the given company shall be 15 members personally present. Since the number of members is 3,500, it falls within the range of more than 1,000 but up to 5,000. The quorum shall be 15 members personally present. Where quorum is not present, in the next line you should have to write, where quorum is not present on the adjourned meeting also, that is 13.5. You refer the question. It has been mentioned as 13.5. Don't generally write it. You link the answer with the points given in the case study. So 13.5.2023. You should have to link the and conclusion with the case study, some way or the other. Or you can say BBQ Limited or whatever name he has given, LKG Limited. So you can write LKG Limited in the answer. If the quorum is not present in the adjourned meeting, that is even on 13/5/2023, within half an hour, then the two members shall form part of quorum. So what will be the fate of the meeting in case two members in person were present? Suppose in the question he has given that it was asked as 5 members personally present, or they have specified only 8 members were present. What will be the fate? Then you have to quote that members who are present there in LKG Limited uh, on 13/5/2023. So that number you should have to mention it here. Then the two members present shall form the quorum. So this is the answer for the first subdivision. So you can write this as the first subdivision. Then what is the second question? In case on 6/5/2023, a total of 16 members were present, but the chairman, owing to the unruly behavior of some members, had adjourned the meeting to 13/5/2023, and at the adjourned meeting, only 3 members in person were present. What will be the fate of such adjourned meeting? So here, the original meeting had 16 members present. The quorum was present, but the meeting was adjourned due to the unruly behavior of some of the members and not in want of the quorum. So in that case, only 3 members present in person were present. In such a case, these 3 members shall not constitute the quorum. Why? You read the thing, this also is there, no? If quorum is not present in the adjourned meeting also, this also, if you take this into consideration, this also, meaning this also means even in the original meeting, quorum was not present. In the adjourned meeting also means that original meeting also it was not there, adjourned meeting also it was not there, quorum is not present. Then it falls under the first scenario. Then the remaining in the adjourned meeting, whoever present forms the quorum. But here it is not the case. In the original meeting, quorum was present. This is the first scenario. Quorum was not present in the original meeting. Adjourned meeting also quorum was not present. Now the second scenario, quorum was present in the original meeting. In the adjourned meeting, quorum was not present. Or quorum not there. So in this case, the scenario is different. Now you read the provision. quorum not present at the adjourned meeting also. It's not in both the meetings. In both the meetings, if the quorum is not present, then the members present shall form the quorum. But in the second scenario, here quorum was present. Only in the second meeting, the quorum was not there. Then it shall stand further adjourned. Because it doesn't fall under this condition. This also, quorum was present in the first meeting and quorum was not present in the second meeting only. So this is a typical tricky understanding of the provision. So 3 members were present in the said meeting. Only 3 members in person were present. In such a case, the 3 members shall not constitute quorum. This is an important thing which students will omit. They will write the answer. Quorum is not present. The members personally present forms the quorum. You have not understood the provision. You have to read it also whenever you get it. When you get the question or in the provision also, alone, only, you have to read the provisions very, very carefully. Also, only. So these words have great weightage. Alone, members alone form the quorum. So when you have words like this, you have to read it once, twice, thrice. You have to give importance to that, what he is conveying, what the provisions convey. So it shall not constitute the quorum and it will stand further adjourned. Then the last thing, if the quorum is not present within half an hour because it was called by the requisitionists themselves, the meeting shall stand cancelled. It is not adjourned. It got cancelled. So the meeting shall stand cancelled. So you have to understand the provisions and you have to write it correctly. Is that clear? Yes. For the first case, the members personal present will form the quorum. In the second case, the meeting will stand adjourned. In the third case, it shall stand cancelled. So 3 different situations. Shall we proceed further? So this also you have to write it. If then the quorum is not present in the adjourned meeting also within half an hour. So in the original meeting also it is not present, in the adjourned meeting also it is not present. Then it's the members personally present form the quorum. In the original meeting it was present, then in adjourned meeting it is not present. It shall be further adjourned. So if it is further adjourned, if it requires a notice, the company should have to give the notice, or it should have to make an advertisement in the 2 newspapers, one in English and one in vernacular newspapers, or it should have to intimate it individually to all the members. Either way, it should have to give an intimation. We will proceed with the next question. Silk Textile Limited is a company which is incorporated in India. Before that, as I told you, first read this provision. Referring to the provisions, advise the board of directors on the following: whether the board of Silk Textile Limited can hold its EGM at Dubai, whether the EGM of Print Limited can be held at Dubai. We will now read the question. Silk Textile Limited is a company which is incorporated in India. It holds 2 companies or 2 subsidiaries. So let me clarify it. So this is a Silk Limited company. This is an Indian company. It has got two subsidiaries. Print Limited, in which it holds 80% of its shares, and Stitch Limited, a wholly owned subsidiary. What do you mean by wholly owned subsidiary? 100% of Stitch Company shares are held by Silk Limited. So the entire share capital of Stitch Limited is held by Silk Limited, whereas in Print Limited, only 80% it holds, 20% by others. So majority, so it becomes a holding company, and you call it as a wholly owned subsidiary if the entire share capital is held by the holding company. So WOS we call it as. Both the subsidiaries are incorporated outside India. Both Print Limited and Stitch Limited is incorporated outside India, whereas Silk Limited is an Indian company which is incorporated in India. The board of directors of Silk Textile Limited intends to call an extraordinary general meeting of Silk Textile Limited. During the same time, the board of Print Limited also wanted to hold an EGM on an urgent basis at Dubai. The chairman, with the consent of his board, wanted to hold the EGM of Silk Textile Limited at Dubai so that he can attend both the EGM. So the scenario is Silk Limited wants to conduct an EGM. At that time, its subsidiary Print Limited, which is incorporated outside India, also wanted to hold the EGM because to transact an urgent matter. So the chairman felt that if both the meetings are held in Dubai, he can conveniently attend the EGM, so that he can attend both the EGM. But the company secretary advised the chairman that he cannot hold the EGM outside India. Now you have to refer to the provisions of the Companies Act and advise the board of directors on the following: whether the board of Silk Textile Limited can hold its EGM at Dubai. So whether the holding company, here the holding company, the question is whether the holding company incorporated in India can hold its EGM outside India. This is the first question. Second question, the subsidiary company which is incorporated outside India, can it hold the meeting or EGM? Can it hold its EGM outside India? That is the question. Now, what is the rule generally? Whenever it is a company incorporated in India, it can hold its EGM anywhere in India. Suppose the registered office is in, say, New Delhi. It can hold it in Mumbai or anything, but anyway, it should be within India. So, within India, it can hold on any place in India. If it is an Indian company, it can hold its EGM anywhere in India. Right? So, first part we will see. As per section 100 of the Companies Act, the board may, whenever it deems fit, call an extraordinary general meeting of the company. So, first thing, it can call, it has got power to call an EGM. So whenever it wants, it can call an EGM. Now, what is the condition? Provided that an extraordinary general meeting of the company other than that of the wholly owned subsidiary of a company incorporated outside India shall be at a place within India. So other than a wholly owned subsidiary, it should be only in India. So this is the provision. Then you have to link the provision with the case. So in the given case. So previously, in the previous answer, it started in one answer, you can say in the given case. Thus, in the given case. Or you can start the answer in the next paragraph as per the facts given in the question. You can use any of these words and you can analyze it. Or in the instant case, in the given case, in the given case study. You can anything, start the paragraph with that and you can proceed with explaining the answer. As per the facts given in the question, Silk Textile Limited is a company incorporated in India having its subsidiary outside India and has two subsidiaries outside India. One is a subsidiary in which it holds 80% of the shares. The other is a wholly owned subsidiary. So you can write it in that normal words also. How you speak, you can also express that in your answer. So it has got two subsidiaries. Number one, Print Limited, on which it holds 80% of the shares. Two, Stitch Limited, which is a wholly owned subsidiary. So since it is a company incorporated in India, the company's Silk Limited can call the EGM anywhere only in India. This only is very important. Only in India. Only in India. So that is very important. Only in India. Hence, it cannot hold its EGM at Dubai. So you have to give it very clearly. It cannot hold its EGM at Dubai outside India. But what about the second case? That is a wholly owned subsidiary. Whether the EGM of Print Limited can be held at Dubai. Print Limited is a company incorporated outside India and it's 80% of the shares is held by Silk Limited. So the question is not about Stitch Limited. It is only about Print Limited and Silk Limited. Silk Limited cannot hold its EGM outside India. And similarly, Print Limited. Even Print Limited, 80% of shares are held by Silk Limited. It is not a wholly owned subsidiary. So it is not a wholly owned subsidiary. Only a wholly owned subsidiary incorporated outside India can hold its EGM outside India. So if they have asked the question, what about Stitch Limited? The question doesn't ask about Stitch. So if the question is about Stitch Limited, then Stitch Limited EGM could be held outside India. So only a wholly owned subsidiary of a company incorporated outside India can hold its EGM outside India. So in view of the above, Print Limited cannot hold its EGM in India. Now I can add one more question to this. Would your answer be different? Would your answer be different in case of Stitch Limited? If I ask the third question, then in the third question, you have to mention, since Stitch Limited is a wholly owned subsidiary, the EGM can be held outside India. So 100% of the share capital is held by this Silk Limited. So it is a wholly owned subsidiary company incorporated outside India. It can hold its EGM outside India. So that should be your answer. So in case of Stitch Limited, since it is a wholly owned subsidiary incorporated outside India, it can hold its EGM outside India. It can hold its EGM outside India. So this is for the third subdivision which I have created. Would your answer be different in case of Stitch Limited? So Stitch Limited is a wholly owned subsidiary incorporated outside India, and it is a wholly owned subsidiary of Silk Limited. So in that case, the situation is different. Is this clear? So you have to read for which question the provisions are tested. So they have specified only Print Limited and Silk Limited. So first, here they have tested about the holding company. Here they are testing the one of the subsidiary. Here in the third question, I have created the second subsidiary. That is wholly owned subsidiary. So in that case, it can hold its EGM outside India, if it is a wholly owned subsidiary. Shall we proceed further? Then we'll go to the next question. Referring to the provisions, you read this first. Considering the case and referring to the provisions of the Companies Act, advice: can Raman as an individual shareholder make a requisition to the company for calling an EGM for putting such resolution? If the company does not call the EGM on the requisition of Raman, whether Raman can himself call the EGM. So now we will read the scenario. Creative Textiles Limited is an unlisted public company. The company's paid up share capital is 50 lakhs, consisting of 5 lakh shares of having face value of rupees 10 each. Raman is having 50,000 shares in the company. He is not happy with Somnath, who is a director of the company. He believed that Somnath is acting against the interest of the company. Raman wanted to remove Somnath from the directorship. Removal of a person from the directorship requires the approval of the shareholders in the general meeting. The annual general meeting of the company has recently been concluded, and the next AGM will be held in the next year. Considering the case and referring to the provisions of the Companies Act 2013, advice: can Raman as an individual shareholder make a requisition to the company for calling of the extraordinary general meeting for putting such resolution? Then if the company does not call the EGM on the requisition of Raman, whether Raman can himself call the EGM. So first you should have to remember when EGM can be called. Now, what is EGM? One EGM has been held, and the next EGM for this year, this AGM has been conducted. Suppose say if it is for 2024, it has been conducted. Then 2025, it will be conducted, say, next September. So September 24, an AGM was held. So only later it will be conducted. Now, in between the two AGMs, if an important resolution has to be passed which requires the approval of the shareholders, then the option is you can have an EGM before two AGM. It cannot wait. This will not wait till the next AGM. Then you can call an EGM and you can pass the resolution. So it was recently concluded. An AGM was recently concluded. So you have to wait till the next AGM. The matter or that resolution has to be passed immediately. Then there is a provision EGM can be called. So for transacting the urgent business. So that's why any business transacted in an EGM is a special business. In AGM, you have got ordinary business and special business. Ordinary business, the four normal routine thing. First one, consideration of accounts. Then second one, declaration of dividend. In that order only it should come. Then third, appointment or reappointment of directors, of those retiring by rotation. Then fourth one, appointment of auditors and fixing their remuneration. So these four are the ordinary business. Any business other than these four are considered as a special business in an AGM. Suppose the company does not declare dividend, there is no director for appointment of auditors. It may have these two agenda or a combination of this agenda will be there. So any business other than the ordinary business is a special business. When there is a special business, explanatory statement should have to be given, specifying why you are doing, what is the reason. So you have to explain the why that resolution is passed to the members. So you have to attach an explanatory statement to the special business. Similarly, any business transacted on an EGM is also a special business, for which also you have to attach an explanatory statement. The shareholders should know for the resolution has been passed. They should get an idea. So you should have to explain the provisions clearly, what for that resolution is passed, so that they can form a judgment and then they can vote accordingly. So for that, explanatory statement should have to be provided. This is the position. Now coming to this question, can Raman as an individual holder make a requisition to the company? So when can a person make a requisition to the company? The rule says that not less than 1/10 of the paid up share capital should be held. In case of company not having paid up share capital, at least 1/10 of the voting power. Right? So 1/10 of the paid up share capital, at least means minimum. It should be called by members who hold at least 1/10 of the paid up share capital of the company. Now, what is the paid up share capital here? It is consisting of paid up share capital is 50 lakhs and Raman is having 50,000 shares. Right? So, first, you have to specify the provisions. So according to section 100 of the Companies Act, in case of a company having share capital, EGM may be called by the board of directors at the requisition of such number of members who hold on the date of requisition at least 1/10 of the such paid up share capital of the company, as on that date carries a right of voting. If the board does not call within 21 days from the date of receipt of a valid requisition, see, this valid is very important, of a valid requisition in regard to any matter, proceed to call a meeting for the consideration on a day not later than 45 days from the date of receipt of such requisition. The meeting may be called by the requisitionist themselves within a period of 3 months from the date of the requisition. So what the rule says, within 21 days, if the board does not take any steps to call a meeting, then on a day not later than 45 days, they can decide when to call the meeting. That meeting can be held, that can be called within 3 months from the date of requisition. So this provision you have to write. Then Raman is holding out of 50 lakhs, he is holding 50,000 shares. So what is out of 50 lakh shares? He is holding 50,000 or 5 lakh shares. 5 lakh shares. So when you take the number, you take the number. 50 lakhs is amount. So I should have to take 5 lakhs. Let me. So it is, if you take the number, take the number. So 50,000 shares divided by 5 lakh. This is the number of shares. Or if you take the amount, it will be 5 lakhs by 50 lakhs. This is amount. This is the number of shares. So if you take here, it is 1/10. Either you take the number of shares or the amount. It is 1/10. So he holds 1/10 of the shares, paid up share capital. So he has got right to, he himself has got the eligibility to call or to requisition a meeting for requisition to the company for calling the meeting. Even a single shareholder holding 1/10 of a even. So it is even a single shareholder holding 1/10 of the paid up share capital can make a requisition. Suppose in the question they have given it as 30,000. Raman holds 30,000 shares. Then it falls less than 1/10. Then that requisition, it is not a valid requisition because the company requires at least 1/10 of such paid up share capital of the company. So since it has been specified as paid up share capital of the company, so you need not take the number of shares, you have to take only the thing, but both will come correctly. But you have to show it in the examination as only the paid up share capital. So this you can ignore. You take only the paid up share capital. So with the amount, rupees, you have to take it. 1/10 of such paid up share capital of the company on that day. So Raman can make a requisition, and that is valid. If the company does not call the AGM on the requisition of Raman, so he has got the time limit. So within 21 days, they do not take step for calling the meeting, then within 45 days, not later than 45 days, the meeting may be called by Raman itself. So within 45 days, he can make a provision for calling the meeting. That meeting should be held within 3 months from the date of requisition. So read the provision. If the company does not within 21 days from the date of receipt of a valid requisition, see, it should be valid requisition. So here Raman's requisition is valid, right? So within 21 days, if they are not calling, then Raman can proceed to call the EGM for the consideration of the matter of removal of the Somnath on a day not later than 45 days from the date of receipt of such requisition. So he himself can call the meeting within a period of 3 months. Right? So this is the provision. In this regard, Rule 17 containing the provisions with regard to calling of EGM by requisitionist shall be followed. Further, it provides that a meeting under subsection 4 by the requisition shall be called and held in the same manner in which the meeting is called and held by the board. So they should have to follow the provisions as though the meeting has been whatever procedure that will be followed in the same manner Even if the requisitionist call, they should have to hold the meeting in the same manner as it would be carried on by the board. So you have to write the answer. The 21 days, 41, 45 days. So 21 days here within 45 days. If no action is taken within 21 days of a valid requisition, then the board can, the individual can within 45 days make a meeting or call a meeting in a period of 3 months from the date of the requisition. That is the concept. Shall we proceed further? We shall take this question. Again, the quorum. It's a different, slightly different. So I wanted to take this question also. We'll quickly go through this. COL Limited is a public limited company incorporated in Surat, Gujarat with 1,200 members. So we all know more than 1,000 up to 5,000. The quorum is 15 members personally present. On 10/12/2023, a general meeting was convened on which 14 members were present in person. Mr. Mohan was acting as an authorized representative of two body corporates who are members of COL Limited. Shyam, one of the important members, was absent. The chairman, Mr. Rahi, adjourned the meeting, taking plea of the absence of Mr. Shyam to the same day and place next week. The members present at the meeting venue waiting to attend opposed the decision, submitting that the majority of them are present now, shall be unavailable next week. Referring to the provisions of the Companies Act, elaborate whether, see, he is asking you to elaborate. So discuss in detail, elaborate whether it could be elaborate whether the requisite quorum to hold the meeting as required in case of public limited companies is present in this case, whether Mr. Rahi could adjourn the meeting in the current scenario. So what is the rule? If it is less than more than 1,000 but up to 5,000, 15 members personally present shall be a quorum unless the articles of association provide for a larger number. That you should have to write. That is the first point. Then here it talks about the secretarial standard. As per the secretarial standard 2, one person can be an authorized representative of more than one body corporate. In such a case, he is treated as more than one member present in person for the purpose of quorum. So the term members personally present refers to the members entitled to vote. So this is a case of a public company having 1,200 members, then the quorum shall be 15 members. So Mohan will be treated as 2 members. That is the point here. So Mohan will be treated as 2 members. So he is representing 2 body corporates. So he will be treated as 2 members personally present. So 13 plus 2, 15 members were present. So the requisite quorum was present. So it is assumed that these 14 persons are inclusive of Mohan. So the requisite quorum was present on the first day. The question is whether the requisite quorum to hold a meeting is present. The question is not about whether the chairman is correct and other thing. Please read the question. You should not give the answer. The chairman should not do it or give the explanation. The question asked is whether quorum is present. Yes, the quorum is present. Why? Because the secretarial standard SS2 specifies Even a person can be an authorized representative of more than one company, one body corporate. So he will be treated as two persons and quorum is present. Your answer stops there. Then second, whether Mr. Rahi could adjourn the meeting in the current scenario. In the given scenario, even if Mr. Shyam was absent, Rahi could not adjourn the meeting as the requisite quorum was present. It cannot be adjourned. So that is the concept. The meeting could not be adjourned. Shall we continue with this or shall we take a break and then we will continue? So, how is your mindset? Shall we continue or shall we take a break? We shall take a break for 10 minutes and then we will meet. Yes. So, we shall take a break for 10 minutes and then So we'll go to the next question. A general meeting of ABC Private Limited was scheduled to be held on 15th April 2024 at 3 p.m. As per the notice, the members who will be unable to attend the meeting in person can appoint a proxy, and the proxy form duly filled should be sent to the company so that the company can receive it within time. Mr. X, a member of the company, appoints Mr. Y as his proxy, and the proxy form dated 10th April 2024 was deposited by Mr. Y with the company at its registered office on 11/4/2024. Similarly, another member, Mr. W, also gives two separate proxies to two individuals named Mr. M and N. In case of Mr. M, the proxy dated 12/4/20, all the proxies, namely Y, M, and N, were present before the meeting. According to the provisions of the Companies Act, who would be the persons allowed to represent as proxies for members X and W respectively? So the question, the scenario is this: date of the meeting 15th April 2024. Now Mr. X has appointed Y as proxy, and he has deposited at the registered office on 11/4. Proxy form might be dated, was deposited by Mr. Y with the company on 11/4. Similarly, another member W. So they are members, X and W are members. Now he has given two separate proxy forms to Mr. M and N. So the proxy dated 12/4 was deposited on 14/4 on two individuals. In case of Mr. M, the proxy dated was deposited with the company on the same day. Same means on 12/4 itself. So this was deposited on 12th April. The dated is also 12/4 and it was deposited also on the same day, means on the day on which it is dated, it was deposited. So 12/4 itself, it was deposited. Mr. N, it was deposited on 14/4. So all the proxies, they are the proxies. They are the proxies. They are the members. Correct? Is the situation clear? The question. So they are the members and they are the proxies. All the proxies were present. Y, M, and N were present before the meeting. So who would be the persons allowed to represent as proxies for X and W? So only one person will be permitted to represent the proxy, right? One person can represent as the proxy. What is proxy, first of all? If a person is not able, if a member is not able to attend the meeting personally, he can appoint a person on his behalf to attend the meeting. So on his behalf, he appoints a person. The person's name is also proxy. Uh, the slip which has to be deposited with the company, that is also a proxy slip, you call it as. The proxy slip should have to be deposited before 48 hours. Right? So 48 hours is the time limit specified for obtaining the proxy. So now we shall see the provisions. You have to According to the provisions, who would be the person? So first explain the provisions. If it is possible, you can write a heading. See how the answer starts. When you see the suggested answers or RTPs or any self-examination questions given at the end of the study material, see whether any heading is given, just observe that. You can, if possible, if you remember, you can start the answer with the heading. Validity of resolution passed in the EGM called by the requisitionist, or you can give a, or you can say proxy, or validity of proxy. You can say, and then you can proceed with it. So a proxy is an instrument in writing executed by a shareholder authorizing another person. See here, he is only authorizing another person. For a Section 8 company, even the proxy should be a member. Proxy need not be a member generally. But for a Section 8 company, if the question is tested, if it is a Section 8 company or if it is a thing, then you should have to say the proxy should also be a member. That you should have to specify. So it is important. Only for a proxy should be a member in case of a Section 8 company. If the question is tested, you have to give the provision like that. Authorizing, it is only another person. So another person, he could be a member, he need not be a member. Another person to attend a meeting. So to attend a meeting and to vote on his behalf and in his absence. See, whatever I have underlined, those are, each one is an important point. It should be an instrument in writing. It should be executed by the shareholder. What for he is executing? He is authorizing another person. Here you should not write another member. It's wrong. So he is authorizing another person. What for he is authorizing? To attend the meeting and to vote. And on his behalf and his absence. So you have to bring out all the points in the examination. You can also write it in a bulletin. So one after the other also you can write it. First point, second point, like that also you can write it. So every shareholder, it starts with every shareholder. You have to read the provisions like that. So every shareholder who is entitled to attend that vote has a statutory right to appoint another person as his proxy. If you remember, write all the points, at least the main point should have to be written. So every shareholder who is entitled to attend that vote is entitled to appoint another person as his proxy. And it is further provided that Section 105(4) provides that a proxy received 48 hours before the meeting is valid. So received 48 hours before is valid. When is the meeting? The meeting is on 15/4. So 48 hours before. So 2 days before prox bid. So 48 hours it should be presented. So further, any provision in the articles of the company requiring the company instrument to be lodged with the company more than 48 hours is not valid. That means even if the articles specify for more than 48 hours, if the articles of association specifies more than 48 hours, then it is deemed that effect as though 48 hours has been mentioned. Effect is 48 hours has been mentioned. in the AOA, meaning that you cannot exceed the time limit. You cannot say anything. You cannot say 72 hours before the meeting, the proxy form should have to be deposited. That condition cannot be put. So it has the effect as though 48 hours has been mentioned. Any number more than 48, say if it is 72, 100 hours, if it is there, all these things, it means only 48 hours. That is the meaning. As a 48 hours has been specified. So in this case, now for X, Y proxy form has been deposited on 11/4 itself, right? So 11/4, so this is valid. So Y can act as a proxy. So in this case, you have to justify, you have to give the explanation. The proxy Y will be permitted to represent as it was submitted within the prescribed time. So it was submitted within the prescribed time. Whereas for W, he has given two proxies. M will be permitted to represent the proxy because less than 48 hours, he has asked N less than 48 hours. That is 15th is the meeting and 14th only he has deposited. So that is less than 48 hours. So what he can say, only M can be permitted. So M will be permitted. What is the reason? It was deposited before 48 hours. So M will be permitted to represent as the proxy. Whereas submission of form authorizing N to represent the proxy was deposited in less than 48 hours, N will not be allowed to represent W. So in this case, Y can represent X and M can represent W. M can act as proxy for W. So you have to bring out the answer very clearly. We shall continue with the MCQs. Now, if you get an MCQ like this, first read the question, what is asked, and then you proceed with the answer. So, multiple choice questions 1 to 5, it is a case study question. What is the last date for conducting AGM? What is the due date for conducting AGM for Golden Limited? Then have a quick go through of that. Provided in addition to the standalone financial statement, shall also prepare consolidated financial statements, which shall be presented. Then in addition to that, shall also be presented before AGM. Accordingly, the consolidated statements includes what are the thing, and please select which is the correct option or which is the most correct statement. So that also he has given 4 things. We will see one after the other. First, let us read this MCQ. Golden Limited is a listed company which is incorporated in 2013, having its registered office at Delhi and office at Noida. It is registered with an authorized capital of 20 crores divided into 2 crore equity shares of rupees 10 each. The paid up share capital is 10 crores. Paid up share capital is 10 crores. Divided into 1 crore share capital or equity shares of 10 each. The company is in construction activity like construction of buildings, roads, etc. On 8th January, the company incorporated a wholly owned subsidiary, D Limited. So it is D Limited is a wholly owned subsidiary, which is involved in supplying of construction materials like steel, iron, cement, bricks, etc. D Limited elects to choose to prepare its first financial statement for the period from 8th January to 31st March 2022. Even for 3 months, if you want, you can take it for 3 months, or if it is incorporated later, you can also, the first financial year could be even for 15 months. So it wants to have its first financial statement from 8th January to 31st March 2022. On 2nd January, Golden Company incorporated a newly wholly owned subsidiary, E Limited, for providing. So the previous one was D Limited, and the next one is E Limited, providing management consultancy services to its customers or to parent company. On 5th January 2022, Golden Limited, through its, so these are the Golden Limited is the holding company, and it has got two subsidiaries, D and E. Golden Limited incorporated a wholly owned company. On 5th January, Golden Limited, through its subsidiary E Limited, acquired 100% partnership interest in XYZ Company, a partnership firm. So through E Limited, it has acquired XYZ, a partnership firm. E Limited elects to choose to prepare its first financial statements from 2nd January to 31st March. So this was incorporated on 2nd January. (2023). So first one was 2022, and this is 2023. And conducted its EGM on 16th August 2023. On 1st July 2022, the subsidiary D Company incorporated a new wholly owned subsidiary. So this company has incorporated F. So that is a wholly owned subsidiary of D. Golden Limited prepared its standalone financial statements for the year 21-22 and presented before the Board of Directors on 25th August 2022 for their approval, and the same were adopted by the shareholders in the annual general meeting held on 2nd September 2023. So it was 25th August was the board meeting. Adoption meeting, what we call it as adoption meeting. The adoption of accounts was held, adopted at board meeting. So board meeting date was 25th August and AGM date is 2nd September 2022. Right? Was held on 2nd September 2022. Golden Limited prepared its standalone and consolidated financial statements for the year 22-23 and presented before the Board of Directors on 20th August 2023 for their approval, and the same were adopted by the shareholders in the annual general meeting held on 26th September 2023. So for 2022, the AGM was held on 2nd September, and in 2023 it was held on 26th September. On the basis of the above facts and by applying the applicable provisions, choose the correct answer 1 out of 4 of the following multiple choice questions, MCQ 1 to 5 given here. What is the last date for conducting AGM for E Limited? So what is E Limited? It is the subsidiary of Golden Limited. It was incorporated on 2nd January and it is holding its financial year from 2nd January to 31st March. That you can have it. So within 6 months of the conclusion of the AGM, you should have to hold its AGM. So what is the last date for conducting AGM for E Limited? Is there any condition or is there any special provision that is applicable for a company? If it is the first AGM, see, for the first AGM, the question is first AGM. For first AGM, there is a specific condition or a provision. Put it in the comment, what should be the last date for conducting AGM? If it is a new company, yes. Maximum, yes, maximum 9 months available without any extension. Correct. Perfect. So what is the last date? See, the question asked is, you are telling me the provision, right? Which option is correct? Is it 31st September or 30th September? So it has got its financial year ending on 31st March. From that, 9 months time limit is there. So 9 months, it falls on 31st December 2023. So D is the correct option. Because the rule specifically says that 9 months time limit is allowed. Since it is a first EG. What is the due date for conducting? So the answer is first one is option D. Why it is option D? Because in case of first annual general meeting, it shall be held within a period of 9 months from the date of closing of the first year. So since it's closed on March 31st, it can hold its AGM on 31st December. Then, what is the due date for conducting AGM for Golden Limited? Golden Limited is the holding company. So he is asking for the holding company. What is the due date? For 31st March. See, for Golden Limited, that is not the first year. Already 2022, it has held its AGM. It is a subsequent AGM. What the rule says, it should be held on or before 30th September. Correct. So 6 months. Yes, within 6 months from the closure of the accounts, it should have to hold the year end within 6 months from year end. So that falls on or before. So the due date is, it cannot, because 6 months from 31st March, it is 30th September. So 30th September is the correct answer. A is the correct option. Suppose this question is asked in an descriptive answer, you should know how to write that. So if they ask you in 2 marks, so it is proviso to 96 months states that the annual general meeting can be held within a period of 6 months from the date of the closing of the financial year. So that you should have to specify. So the option C is given for the partnership firm, not this. Only for the partnership the firm, this is the due date. So not for thing. So for this company, it is only 30th September. Then we'll proceed with the third MCQ. The Companies Act 2013 provides that in addition to the standalone financial statement, the company shall also prepare consolidated financial statements, which shall also be presented at AGM. Accordingly, the consolidated financial statements of Golden Limited for the financial year ended 31st March 2022 includes financial statements. What are the financial statements? So this partnership was acquired on 5th January 2022 itself through its subsidiary E Limited acquired partnership interest in XYZ partnership firm. So you have got, what is the answer for this third, this Golden Limited and D Limited, or Golden Limited, D Limited and E Limited? Golden Limited, D Limited, E Limited and XYZ company. Golden Limited, D Limited, E Limited, F Limited and XYZ company. F Limited was formed, de-incorporated on 1st July 2022. It was incorporated. So that pertains to the next financial year, 22-23 only that situation comes. So he is asking before 31st March 2022, what is the situation? See, in case of F, it was July 2022. So that pertains to the next financial year, not up to this financial year. Whatever events have taken place within this financial year, that should have to be specified. So what should be the answer for this, for 3? Yes, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. It should be Golden Limited, D Limited, E Limited, XYZ. This F will come only for the next year. This will not be there. If you do only this, it's not complete. Proper compliance is not there. So you have to take this XYZ company a partnership form also. That should also be specified. So Golden Limited, D Limited, E Limited and XYZ a partnership form. Why? What is the reason? The reason being, if the company has one or more subsidiaries, it shall, in addition to standalone financial statement, prepare a consolidated financial statement of the company. In the given case, the consolidated statement will include D Limited, E Limited, and the partnership firm. For the year ended 31st March, it is there. Now, E Limited has got an option to prepare. So, it is preparing for to 31st March. But E has got an option, but now it is its subsidiary. When it is going to represent its subsidiary, the shareholders should have to know what is happening. So, as the holding company, it should also include E's financial statements. Right? So, that is the answer. Now, fourth, the Companies Act 2013 provides that in addition to the standalone financial statement, the company shall also prepare consolidated financial statements which shall also be presented before AGM. Accordingly, the consolidated financial statements of Golden Limited for the year ended 31st March 2023. Now, for the 31st March 2023, it will also include F, correct? Because F was started on July 2022. So, for 2023, 31st March 2023, this F should also be included apart from this. So, it will be Golden Limited and D Limited. No, it's not complete. This is also not complete. You should have to include this F Limited also. So this is only complete. So D is the correct answer. You will see the answer. So it provides that if the company has one or more subsidiaries, it shall, in addition to the standalone financial statement, prepare a consolidated financial statement of the company. In the given case, Golden Limited has 4 subsidiaries, either direct subsidiaries or subsidiaries. It is a parent company. So ultimate subsidiary also should have to be included. So in the given case, Golden Limited has 4 subsidiaries, including partnership firm. You have got D Limited, E Limited, F Limited, and X, Y, and Z company, a partnership firm. So everything should have to be included. So D is the correct answer. See, when you are going through the case studies, don't see the option alone, oh, I have done it correctly. Now explanation is given, right? That ensure whether you are able to answer that question. Suppose if this MCQ was asked as a descriptive question for 2 or 3 marks, then you should have to make a mention. So 3 marks question, if it is asked, you should be in a position to write it as a description, or you have to bring out the points. So you have to read the answer carefully for the MCQs. I can twist this question. A company has got a standalone. I can present the scenario. That scenario in a short thing. A company has got Golden Limited has got D Limited, E Limited, and E Limited has started an F Limited. I can give the scenario. Analyze and specify what are all the consolidated statements that should be presented by Golden Limited for the year ended 31st March 2023. Then you have to take the provisions put together and you have to write it in the answer. Since D was incorporated before, so it will also contain D Limited, E Limited, F Limited also will be contained in 2023 financial statement, but not in 2022 because it was incorporated only on July 2022. So you have to give the explanation and the answer. If it is asked as a question and answer, descriptive answer, not as an MCQ. So you have to go through each and everything carefully. Understand the concept, not just you have got the answer correctly and go to the next case scenario. That you should not do, because yes, in the case booklet they have given the reason also. So that you should have to go through word by word, you should have to read, and then you should have to understand the concept and then write it in the examination. Please select which is the correct option or which is the most correct statement. Golden Limited has given the notice for holding AGM in Mumbai on Monday, the 26th September at 11 a.m. Golden Limited has given the notice for holding AGM in Delhi on Monday, the 26th September at 11 a.m. Golden Limited had given the notice for holding AGM in Noida on Tuesday, the 27th September at 11 a.m. Golden Limited had given the notice for holding AGM in Delhi on Monday, the 26th September 2023 at 8:30 a.m. So you read the question. This is for 2023, right? And the same for approval of the shareholders held on 26th September 2023. Right? So 26th September 2023. The 20th August was adoption of accounts, and only on 26th September, then the same were adopted by the shareholders on in the AGM held on 26th September 2023. So 26th September 2023 is the thing. And what is the registered office of the company? Having its registered office at Delhi. It's only corporate office in Noida. So we are bothered about the registered office. So registered office is in Delhi. the date is 26th September. So which should be the correct answer? So B is the correct answer. So Delhi, 26th September. Whereas this is so this is the correct answer. This is in Noida and that is also in Delhi, but it is at 8:30 a.m. Has he mentioned it is at Delhi were adopted. So 26th September is the date of AGM. So B is the answer. You can also give the D if the answer is this. We will see. Between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. during business hours. So normally it is considered as between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. So 8:30 a.m. the two confusion comes between whether 8:30 a.m. is correct or 11 a.m. So 11 a.m. is correct because that is during business hours. So generally it is 9 to 6. So you have to select at 11 a.m. So this is the correct answer, and that should not be a national holiday, say on October 2nd or August 15th. So it should not be a national holiday. So either at the registered office or at some other place. So the answer is this. Many students will give it as 8:30, but these two are together, but this is outside office hours. So this is during office hours between 9 to 6 p.m. So you can take B. Most, that's why they have used, see the thing, most appropriate. They have mentioned it as one of four most appropriate. You should have to take, which is the most correct statement. So that's why he has given most correct, which is the correct option or most correct statement. This is also correct, but if they agree, but most correct here it is very safe. So B is the answer. Most correct is B. Right? We shall proceed with the next MC. ABC Limited was incorporated on 1st January 2023. It operates in the manufacturing sector and aims to expand its business model to include e-commerce operations. ABC Limited's first financial year ended on 31st March 2024, and its board meeting and the board is preparing its first annual general meeting to present the financial statements and discuss the new business model. ABC Limited current board consists of 5 directors, including 2 independent directors appointed in line with the best corporate governance practice. The company has a wholly owned subsidiary, XYZ Limited, which is primarily involved in the research and development for new products. XYZ Limited's financial year also ended on, see this also. So also means, here he means not only the holding company, even the subsidiary company also. XYZ financial year also ended on 31st March 2024. Additionally, ABC Limited has a 30% stake in an associate company, MNO Limited, who provides logistic and distribution services. The board is assessing if it is required to prepare consolidated financial statement that combine the financials of ABC Limited, XYZ, and MNO Limited, considering the exemptions available under the Companies Act. The AGM agenda includes approval. So AGM, you have got generally four ordinary business and any special business. So approval of the financial statements, then discussion of a special resolution to adopt a new e-commerce business model which requires a threefold majority approval. Approval of consolidated financial statements if required, appointment of auditors and other general meeting proceedings. The board has provided notice to all members about the AGM agenda, including the proposal for the special item requiring special resolution. The notice was sent by email and registered post to ensure that compliance with the statutory notice requirements. All shareholders, including minority stakeholders, received this notice with proof of delivery available with the company. On the basis of the above facts and by applying the applicable provisions of the Companies Act and the applicable rules therein, choose the correct answer 1 out of 4 of the following multiple choice questions given hereunder. Given that ABC Limited's first financial year ended on 31st March and it was incorporated on 1st January 2023, what is the latest date by which ABC Limited must hold its first AGM? Again, the question is on first AGM. So, what should be the answer for this? 31st March. So, many have given the option. So 31st December 2024, for the first year ending, you have got 9 months time limit. So the answer is 9 months that you can take it then. For the second one, suppose ABC Limited holds its first AGM on 15th December. By when must it hold a subsequent AGM to remain compliant? When it should have to hold its subsequent AGM? So by when it should hold its subsequent AGM to remain compliant? So 15th December. See, the next year it will be, the year will end on 31st March 2025, right? So the next year will be 31st March 2025. So within 6 months, you should have to hold the AGM. So what is the answer for this? Yes, it should have to hold its AGM on or before 6 months from the end of the financial year. So it is 30th September. So only then it will remain compliant. You should not take it as 15th December. Then. Under the Companies Act, does ABC Limited need to prepare consolidated financial statements to present at the AGM? So should it prepare consolidated financial statement? Is what is your answer? Put it in the comment. Yes, and two AGMs should not have a gap of more than 15 months. But the rule is that if the next year ends on 31st March 2025, within 6 months you should have to hold the AGM. So here automatically within that 6 months it should have to hold its AGM. So what is the answer for the next question? Yes, because it has one wholly owned subsidiary, yes, it should definitely prepare its consolidated financial statement. It has got one wholly owned subsidiary and an associate company. So it has got a stake in an associate company also, MNO Limited. It is also having a wholly owned subsidiary XYZ Limited. So it has got a wholly owned subsidiary and an associate company, so it should have to prepare its financial statement. Not because it is a listed company, so it is because of its wholly owned subsidiary and an associate company. What must ABC Limited ensure to pass the special resolution approving the adoption of a new e-commerce business model at the AGM? See, for a special resolution, what is the rule that you should have to understand? Special resolution, when does a resolution is called as a special resolution? Votes cast in favor should be more than or the 3 times more than the votes cast against. Or if the person says 3% object, they are against. You should have at least 9 persons having in favor. It could be 19, it could be any number. So at least 9% should be there in favor. So votes cast in favor must be 3 times the votes cast against. Should have more than 50%. This is an ordinary resolution. For ordinary resolution, it is more than 50%. So 51% if it is there, then it becomes an ordinary resolution. For special resolution, must be stated as special. Unanimous support means all the members. See, unanimous resolution. There are 3 types of resolution. One is ordinary resolution, wherein more than 50% consent to it. Another resolution, there is a special resolution, wherein votes cast in favor should be more than or should be 3 times the votes cast against. Then it is a special resolution. Unanimous resolution means not even as consent. You call it as a unanimous resolution or unanimous consent. Unanimous consent means 100% consent. Not even a single person should object. Not even a single vote against. That is important. So here the question asked is the resolution, what must ABC Limited ensure to pass the special resolution as for adopting the new e-commerce model? So first one is ruled out, it is only 50%, it's not there. The resolution must be stated as special in the notice and votes in favor must be 3 times the votes against, that is right. The resolution can be passed in if the votes in favor exceed the votes cast against without being stated as special, no. Unanimous support from the board of directors. See, it's not from the board, it is only from the general meeting. It need not have a unanimous support. It is enough if it has 3 times the votes cast against. So what is the thing? It is votes cast against. This you should have to calculate. Multiplied by 3, that should be votes in favor. Then it is a special resolution. Under which conditions would ABC Limited be exempt from preparing consolidated financial statements? So what should be the answer for this? If ABC Limited is a wholly owned subsidiary, all members agree in writing to the exemption and proof of delivery of this intimation is available. If XYZ Limited shareholders unanimously agree to waive CFS consolidated financial statement requirements, if MNO Limited's financials are not significant to ABC Limited's overall financial position, if ABC Limited's boards decide to skip CFS preparation with a simple majority vote. What is the answer for this? For this fifth? So only some have given the answer. Yes. See, unanimously agree to waive, that is not there. So if it is a wholly owned subsidiary, all members agree in writing to the exemption. See, overall financial position or with a simple majority vote decides to skip, the board has got no option. It cannot skip. It is mandatory. Preparation of accounts is mandatory. So it cannot skip CFS preparation. So unanimously agree to waive CFS requirements. That is also not a thing, not the answer. If ABC is a wholly owned subsidiary, then all members agree in writing to the exemption and proof of delivery. That should be available. Is available, then it is exempted from preparing the financial statement. We'll move on to the next MCQ. Let me see. We'll quickly go through. This is with regards to quorum. Yes. We will take this. Shri Tires Limited. So the question was tested on notice should have been given. So there it's tested. Shri Tires Limited is an unlisted public company. The company's accounts for the financial year ending on 31st March 2023 were finalized and audited by the statutory auditor. The meeting of the board of directors was convened and approved the financial accounts of the company and proposed to convene the AGM on shareholders on 25th August at 10 a.m. The total number of members is 3,500. So it is unlisted public limited company. So 3,500. So 15 members personally present will form the quorum. The articles of the company provided that the quorum for the general meeting shall be at least 50 members. Unless the articles provide otherwise, the quorum shall be 15 members personally present. So now the articles have prescribed 50 members as the shall be at least 50 members. On the day of the meeting, only 10 members were physically present. Even after waiting of 30 minutes, the quorum was not present. Accordingly, the meeting was adjourned. According to the provisions of the Companies Act, the meeting shall adjourn to the same day in the next week at the same time and place. However, on the same day in the next week, that is on Thursday, the 1st September 2023, the same venue, which is a hotel's conference hall, was available from 3 p.m. only. The board agreed to conduct the meeting from 3 p.m. and that all the members were informed individually via mail and also published it in the newspapers, one in English and another in vernacular news language, because the timing is different. It was not held at 10 a.m. It was held on some other day. So the rule says that if it is held on some other day, date, time, so it should have to be mentioned on or on some other day. So here the timings are different. It is not at 10 a.m. but it is at 3 p.m. So the timing is different. So it should have to, it has intimated it individually and also in vernacular newspaper and English newspaper advertisement was given. The adjourned meeting started at 3 p.m. on 1st September. The quorum required that as per the articles was 50. However, 75 members were present. Out of the 75 members attending the meeting, 25 persons were having the residence near the venue of annual general meeting and the rest of the members were staying far away. Due to heavy rainfall and scarce availability of public transportations, 40 persons left the meeting so that they can reach the home on time. But that time only ordinary business resolutions were approved and two special business agendas were pending for approval by the members. So based on the above facts, answer the following MCQs. In the light of the given facts, the general meeting of the shareholders was decided to be scheduled. Determine by which day the notices to the shareholder should be given to the members. Now he is asking, the general meeting was decided on 25th August. So the rule says that 21 clear days notice should have to be given. So 25th August, 21 days clear days notice should have to be given. So on which day you should have given the notice to the members? By which date the notices to the shareholder should have been given to the members? See, in case of if it is given by post after the expiration of 48 hours only, it will be taken as given. So it was proposed. So what was the day on which they should have given? Put it in the comment. What should be the answer for one? Okay, what about others? See, what is the date of AGM? 25th August. So 21 clear days should have to be given. So some have given the correct answer, 3rd August. We will see the provision. More than that, provides that a general meeting may be called by giving not less than 21 days clear notice in writing, even or through electronic mode, that is via email. So excluding the day of 3rd August, the day of service of notice, you should have a clear 21 days. So 25 minus 21, 4, you exclude that one day before. So that is the date of general notice. That day you should have to exclude. One day should have to be excluded. So 3rd August is the correct answer. So the answer you should have to take it this way, 25 minus 21. So that comes to 4. So you have to give one day before. 3rd. Because if you send the thing, this is 3rd is excluded. So you have to give it on 3rd. Whether adjournment of the general meeting of shareholders of Sri Tyres Limited for want of quorum was justified as per the requirement of the Companies Act. Adjournment was justified. Shall be at the articles, unless the articles provide for a larger number, members 15 will be the quorum. So now articles have specified that 50 members as the quorum. So articles only should have to be considered. So 50 members is the minimum. So is it justified? The quorum was not present within 30 minutes from the time appointed for holding the meeting. No, it was not justified. The required quorum is 30 minutes. As per the provision was the adjournment was taken after 15 minutes. No, that is not the correct thing. Yes, if the quorum is not present at the given time sharp of the meeting stands to be adjourned and there is no requirement of waiting time. Yes, it was justified if the quorum was not present within 45 minutes. No, within half an hour is the thing. So the answer is A. For 2, it is A. Yes, it was justified. If the quorum is not present within half an hour, it shall stand adjourned to the same date and it shall be adjourned on that day. It shall stand adjourned on that day. We will go to the next 1000. Answer shall be 50. So, in approved. What is your answer for the 4th subdivision? What is your answer for the fourth? See, it says that the quorum should be present. What is the provision for quorum? See, it should be present all the time when the meeting is in progress. Because the secretarial standards has specified should be present throughout the meeting, quorum shall be present not only at the time of commencement of the meeting, but also while transacting the business. So option B is the correct answer. The quorum should be present at all times because the secretarial standards specify, so that should have to be looked into. Then they might ask you a question, how many days the register of members can be closed? We will quickly have a recap of that. If they ask you what is the register of members should be closed, it cannot be closed consecutively for more than 30 days, right? So register of members can be closed at a stretch for 30 days, and it should not be more than, at a stretch it can be closed for not more than 30 days. So maximum time limit at a stretch, maximum it is 30 days and 45 days in aggregate. So this could be tested, and within what time limit the entry should have to be made in the register. So that is within 7 days. And if you are going to provide the inspection, you have to provide the inspection for not less than 2 hours per day for inspection. So some of the time limit and register of members should have to be preserved. If it is ROM register of members, it should have to be preserved permanently. If it is any other register, it should be preserved for 8 years. That you should have to specify. And foreign register also, that should be preserved, and within 30 days you should have to make a mention to the ROC that you are preserving that foreign register. You have to make an intimation. And shorter notice can be given for 21 days. Less than 21 days shorter notice can be given, provided for an AGM not less than 95% of the members entitled to vote accept it, right? Then shorter notice can be given. So they can test you on whether less than 21 days notice is it possible. So 21 days clear notice is there. For a section 8 company, 14 days is sufficient. For them, 21 is not required. 14 days notice is sufficient for a section 8 company. It should mention what is the day, what is the date, time and venue. Which place? Venue is nothing but the place, date, day, time. So that should have to be mentioned. So that is important. And we know that for the quorum up to 1000 it is 15 members, more than 1000 and up to 5000 it is 15 members, and more than 5000 it is 30 members, unless otherwise the articles of association provide for a larger number. So, and minutes, if it is minutes, the recording of the proceedings, minutes is prepared even for AGM and for board meeting. It should be written within 30 days of the meeting. And it should be signed by the chairman of the meeting. Even for EGM, everywhere you have to prepare the minutes, and it should be separately kept. It should be consecutively numbered. Consecutively numbered means you have to put the page number, so that the concept is nobody should tear that or insert some other thing. So it should be bound. It should not be easily removed and inserted. So that should be avoided. So to avoid all those things, you number it consecutively so that it won't be altered. Minutes cannot be altered. So you number it properly. So this is with regards to management and administration. All the important concepts have been, yes, 7 days and 8 years. Correct. So it should have to be for register of members, it should be entered and it should be authenticated. See, for register of members, it should also be authenticated. See, each entry when you make in the register, in the statutory register, it should be authenticated either by the company secretary or by a person who is authorized in this behalf. So whatever entry has been made, he should have to put the signature. So it should only then it is a proof that it is proper. It should be authenticated properly. So that is also there. So I think this covers majority of the concepts. I would like you to go through the case scenarios, previous year question papers, how the questions have been asked, and how the answers are given. You should have to spend some time reading how the question answers have been given. Every company, for this, you should have to write. If the answer starts with every company, you should also write every company how it starts, every company. So it is there, you have to write it as every company. You have to read it specifically. Shall means it is a must. May at its option. So it has got an option. As I told you before, only. So all those things should have to be read carefully. So here also not only at the time, but also while transacting the business. So read the question and the answer. Read the question because many students do not give importance to reading the question. You have to read what is the requirement. Read the question carefully and then write the answer, present the answer. When you present the answer, first you have to give the provisions whatever you know about the quorum. Suppose the question is about quorum. You write for a private limited company, 2 members personally present can form the quorum. For a public limited company, you give the provisions, all the provisions, unless the articles provide for a larger number. Then you start your analysis in the light of the case, with the case discussed above. You should have to link it up with the case, link it up with the case study or whatever ABC company if he has given PQR company, that in that what is the situation, you make an analysis, then you give a conclusion. If it is a descriptive answer, he is correct, he is not correct. If you don't give the conclusion, then marks will be deducted for that. So you have to plan your answer in such a way, you write the provision, you analyze with respect to the relevant case study, and then you give a conclusion whether the company is right, wrong, whatever it is, whatever is your calculation conclusion, justify it why it is so. So you can justify your answer with the conclusion why it is wrong or why it is right. He is deemed to have been complied with, or this person has or this XYZ company has complied with the provisions. So you have to plan your answer like that. Don't immediately on reading the question start writing the answer. Read the question carefully, and if possible, you can also give a heading if it is possible. Heading for the answer. And start the question on a fresh page. You can also give it correctly. Answer to question number 1. So you can put it a box so that it will not be a, if it is one, many students write it as 1, 2, whether it is a subdivision question or the main question, you should have to be very clear. And those things you should have to explicitly specify whether it is question or put question number 1 so that it is a new question. So this also you can follow in your answer. Any doubts from many of the students? We will clarify the doubt. Is it clear? Yes. So wish you all the best for your examination and have a good day. So go through the case studies, suggested answers, RTPs, your material, of course, and go through it, learn, prepare your own points or whatever, prepare a checklist wherein it is confusing. You prepare the days, 30 days, 7 days, like that. You prepare your checklist and prepare for the examination so that you will not be confused. So, wish you all the best, and we will conclude for the present. Good day to all of you. Yes, over. Thank you.